Welcome to the Marta Hobbs podcast, a sacred space of reclamation, unraveling, and in the age where loneliness and isolation are at an all-time high, also a place of deep connection to each other as well as to ourselves. As I share the intimate journey of my own life, I hope to reflect your own so that you can live more deeply and freely from a place of full alignment and authenticity. Because that is what we're here to do, to continually discover ourselves in order to fully express our sacredness, wholeness, and radiance as women. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to the Marta Hobbs podcast. I'm so happy that you're here. Today, I really wanted to share something with you that I've been contemplating, and that is my relationship to resistance. So often, I find myself in life resisting what is happening. Maybe you can relate. It usually looks like a very strong preference for how things should be versus how things actually are. And I've had a bit of experience playing around with this because for a while, a big part of how I functioned and who I was controlling of circumstances. And that came from my upbringing, from my programming, from my beliefs that I actually could. And even more so, the belief that that was how it should be, actually. I believe that manifesting the kind of a life experience that I wanted came from noticing where life wasn't quite right and then trying to change it. But what I didn't realize at the time was that a lot of that way of thinking comes from the need to fix. And now the way I look at it is we can never get to the life that we want by not liking the life that we currently have. Because what fuels that whole entire cycle, what motivates and drives the need to change our circumstances is lack and scarcity and resistance to what is versus the acceptance of our circumstances. And it's counterintuitive to what I've been taught and how I've lived a lot, which is, well, if you don't like something, change it, which is true. And that I lived that for a season of my life. And that was who I was. I didn't like something. I noticed it and I drove myself to change it. And that was fine. But now I feel like I'm coming to a different space in my life where I just want my life to be effortless. I really have this desire to plug into ease and flow and living and creating my current reality from my feminine. And so I feel like the other way of manifesting, which definitely worked, was a little bit more masculine in nature, where there was a goal that I had set. I had noticed something wasn't the way I wanted it. I would set a goal. There would be steps. There would be a plan. And I would go forward in achieving that thing or that thing I was manifesting. And it worked. It worked until that way of being started to be exhausting. And now that doesn't mean that it was wrong. It was very clear to me that I came to a season in my life where I outgrew that way of being, that way of doing life. And so I really started to look at my relationship to life. Is there so little trust in the fact that things are working out for me, that there's a bigger plan that's in place, that I need to control circumstances and people and things and everything? Like, is it all up to me? Which is how I functioned. Which was, again, great because it really taught me radical self-responsibility. It really taught me that I can do, have, be anything until I got to just that point where I'm like, okay, I have learned everything from here that there is to learn. And it was simply time for something new. And it became exhausting because it took effort. It took discipline. It took will. It took plan. It took goals. It took execution. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It worked. But I knew that there was a shift, an invitation, and life was asking me to trust it. And that was new because that required me to surrender, a word which for a very long time I did not love because of my background. So I come from a lot of childhood trauma, and surrender to me was equivalent to helplessness and a lack of choice. And helplessness is a key experience of someone who comes from trauma. And that is the thing we always try to avoid. If I'm helpless, I have no choice. That's traumatic. There's no way forward. There's no exit. That is the thing we do not want to ever experience. And so surrender to me for a long time was a triggering thing until I learned to cultivate so much safety in my own body, trust in my own self-agency, until there was so much healing that took place that I understood the trauma was really the helpless child. It was a past experience. And the present day woman could carry herself through any challenging circumstances simply because she had the tools that the younger version of me didn't have, I had now. And so there was a moment in my life where I started to let go of that version of me that was the fighter, the warrior, always ready for battle. And I really started to understand that that was my relationship to life. I was fighting life. When I was manifesting from having to control circumstances to get a certain result that I desired, that was very much a fight. Very often I had to show up. Even though I didn't want to, I had to have that discipline. I had to have that will. And it felt like a struggle, but I was determined. And like I said, it became exhausting. And as the invitation came to shift how I manifested, the invitation was also to something bigger, which is changing my relationship to life from that of one who was constantly fighting the experience by trying to control it or change it, versus someone who allowed life to lead her. And what I started to experiment with in terms of manifesting was, rather than have a goal that I am steering or heading towards, can I instead notice what is already here? What is already here that's inviting me to dance with it, to collaborate with it, to flow with it, to fully receive it, but receive it to the depths of me where I embody it. I'm in awe of it. I give thanks and tremendous gratitude for it. And then I ask for more of it. So can I love what I have? Can I want what I have first before asking for more, before desiring the expansion into more? As I started thinking about it, that really led to a relationship with life of trust. I trust that things are working out for me. I trust that there is a plan. I trust that there is an easier way to manifest my desires, which comes not from resisting what life is offering me already, but accepting it, receiving it, embodying it, rooting myself in it. I am already full. I am already so grateful. There is already so much here. Thank you. And yes, more please. from a space of, God, if you've given me so much already, such miracles, such abundance, what else is there out there for me that is more than I can ever imagine or envision? Because when I plan, set goals, imagine, and envision, all of it is limited by my human mind. And so releasing control of what I want in life, what I think I want in life, and allowing life, God, the universe, to show me by planting tiny little lampposts along my path. Can I actually step into something that is a lot more in alignment with who I am at the soul level? Can I trust in the mystery of life? Can I trust in the unknowing, walking that path blindly, just looking for the next light, versus manifesting from the space of, oh, I know where I'm headed? So much of that comes from needing safety, needing to have everything outlined and planned. Can I surrender that need to control, which really only points to the lack of safety that I'm experiencing within my own body, within life? Can I cultivate so much safety within my own system, my own nervous system, my body, my cells, my thoughts, my beliefs? Can there be so much internal safety that I am excited and look to the unknown with curiosity? Can I have that much internal safety and trust in life that I can walk blindly just until the next step, knowing that from there I will be led to the next and the next and the next? And this way of living has been a huge shift, first of all, from how I had navigated life before. Like I said, direct, exact plan and an execution, to this effortless receiving, being open to what's here, living in harmony with life and what is flowing towards me, instead of saying, that's not what I wanted, that's not good enough, that's not. We're constantly rejecting, resisting what's here, trying to control and mold it into something else, which in a way is what we do with ourselves. How often as women are we rejecting, resisting who and how we are to try to mold ourselves into something better? I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too ugly, my hair's too long, whatever, I'm too loud, I'm too stupid, right? There's such judgment. So the judgment of what life was serving up for me and my rejection of it was really only mirroring back to me what was going on internally. How so often I rejected and judged myself. As always, for me, everything is inside out. The world only mirrors my internal state. And so the more time I spent cultivating acceptance of myself, self-love of myself, the more I was able to show up like that and receive life from that perspective as well. Noticing the goodness that was already present at the tiniest things. My dog and how much she loved me, the beauty of my coffee in the morning, the flowers in the flower shop, the sunrise I witnessed that morning, just constantly redirecting my gaze towards what was beautiful, what was perfect in itself, how much love was already present in my life, how blessed I was, how much there was to be thankful for, the little things, the fact that I can take myself for a walk and my body wasn't broken or aching, giving thanks and really noticing so much that I can be in a state of gratitude all the time because I see how much is already here that's abundant. And that did two things for me. One was it placed me in that vibration and frequency of gratitude and abundance, which is magical for attracting whatever it is that we desire. And the second thing was, it opened me, it softened me, it took off that hard-shelled armor that I had carried when I showed up in life as the warrior woman, the one who's tough and powerful and resilient. Yes, that's true. But I'm also soft and tender and feminine and gentle. And so when I started to approach manifesting from that feminine space of opening to receive, starting by noticing what's here, it's like the armor that I had carried as the fighter was blocking things from coming in. Like very often we think we need that armor. We protect our hearts. We harden our outer shells to keep the bad stuff out, right? To keep the pain out. But it keeps love out as well. And so it was like the minute I decided to remove that hard shell, that outer layer, the thing that protected me from pain and suffering, it allowed more goodness and beauty and abundance to come in too. It's like all of a sudden, I was like a sponge, and all the beautiful good things filled me, and like I soaked up in that, and it completely expanded and elevated my vibration and my frequency, and I started to attract and magnetize some of the craziest things, like crazier things that I could even imagine. And I want that for you. I want that for all of us. As women, we're just so often the powerful, the strong, the fighters. But that is survival. So the invitation in ending the relationship with life that constantly resists the present experience is slowing down, softening, and accepting. Accepting what's here that's good, noticing what's here that's good and beautiful and lovely, accepting ourselves, how beautiful and lovely we are. And then in return, the way we show up to the manifesting process isn't from a space of effort and hard work and perseverance and discipline and will, which works, but it's tiring. But we show up to the manifesting game from the space of, God, I am open to receive. Show me your magnificence. I want the miracles and magic. But if we want the miracles and magic, we have to remember they don't come from the space of planning and goals and knowing. The unknown, the mysterious, beautiful, and often dark space of the unknown is where we leave space for God to show us what is possible, which is always more than we can imagine because it comes from the limitless field of potentiality versus our limited thoughts of what we think is feasible. And so this is really what I am playing with now in my own life. No longer resisting what life wants to invite me into. There was a shift not too recently where I decided that what God, Mother Nature, the universe has available for me is so much better than anything I can plan for myself that I started really to lean into the mystery. How comfortable can I be with the discomfort of the unknown? Because really, the possibility where life starts to serve you the craziest, most insane things that you never thought could happen is when you start to get comfortable with discomfort, with pain, when you start to believe that, gosh, I don't need to have everything planned out and spelled out for me, because whatever comes my way, first of all, I'm sure it's going to be incredible. But if hard, tough things come, well, I can handle that. My past life has shown me experience of how powerful and resilient I am. I have the agency and the tools to walk myself through anything. Why would I fear it? Like, I know I can handle anything. Full trust in myself as a human. I have walked through some of the most difficult, complicated, most painful, heartbreaking experiences. The key is I don't need to fear that more of them will come. That's dragging the past in with us to color the future. My future stays a blank canvas. I'm painting that thing with God. I'm co-creating with the divine, because I'm not afraid of anything hard coming my way. I know I have that strong back to carry myself through that. But I don't need to stay hard and tough in the anticipation of it. I let the heart lead, the full trust, the surrender, the cultivated safety in my own body, that I can take the next step without seeing where the whole road goes. And that is living from allowing life to lead you, allowing life to take you where you're always meant to go. Sometimes we don't know. Actually, most of the time, we don't know. But it's following that desire, our bliss, what feels good when you're in alignment, when you feel like work is play, like when everything becomes beautiful, when you lose yourself in play. Those are the signs that we're on the right path. So can we let that lead us energetically, faithfully, spiritually? Can that be what leads us forward into manifesting our wildest dreams versus some limited, thought up version of what you think is possible for you? The divine plan is always grander than anything you can imagine. And so that is my invitation to you today. Can you start to notice how you resist what life wants to give you? Where you wanted red roses and you got white. Where you wanted a blue dress but you got yellow. Like, can there be an openness to being so present that you notice the everyday magic and miracles, that you fully receive them, that you embody them, that you're so grateful because you do that? All you can do is feel awe along with gratitude. It raises your vibration, your frequency to such a magnetic level that then you start attracting things that you never thought were meant for you. Can you allow life to lead you, your greatest unfolding? Can you trust? Can you surrender? Can you take off that armor, soften, open your heart, and let yourself be led by joy, by play, by pleasure? That is my invitation to you. And that is my invitation to myself. Let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you resonate with this message, or if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss in a future episode, I would love to hear about it. Send me a message on Instagram at Marta Hobbs. If you'd like to move more deeply in a community of like-minded, soul-led women, please join me in mine. It's called Come Closer. And if someone in your life would benefit from today's episode, I would love it if you send it along to them. Just click share in your podcast app and text it to a friend. Finally, I would be so grateful if you'd rate and review the Marta Hobbs podcast in your favorite podcast app. Your support will help this show find the women who need it. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me today. Until next time, I'm sending you all my love. Take care.